What is your superpower? And I guess you figured out what mine is already. I was 9 when I first witnessed someone use sign language. And at first, it felt like a secret code. Hands moving, unusual facial expressions, an entire universe existing right before us, invisible to those who couldn't see it. And I remember interpreting for the first time. My hands trembled, my heart raced. I worried. What if I messed up? What if my signs were wrong? And what if I didn't belong? But amidst all that doubt, someone's eyes lit up. And not because my signs were perfect, very far from that, but because they were finally included in the conversation. And at that moment, I knew with no doubt that I had stepped into something bigger than myself. So I decided to chase that feeling of connection. But remember, the path to fluency is a baptism of fire. It's deconstructing your own language and building it back with your hands. It's feeling like a child again, fumbling for the simplest words like, how are you? What is your name? It is the exhausting, exhilarating work of building an identity in a language that isn't yours by birth, but by choice. So for years, I practiced not just the language, but the courage and the confidence to use it. So I pushed past the fear of offending and the terror of making mistakes and dedicated myself to this feeling of connection, knowing that every awkward sign, every mistake was a brick in a bridge I was building to another person. Let me take you back a bit. I wasn't born into a deaf family. None of my extended family members was deaf, at least not that I know of. I didn't attend any special school. In fact, no one ever thought I would use sign language. However, I got enrolled into a senior high school, Hope College, in the central region of Ghana, that required every student to study the basics of sign language. And my sign language teacher, who happened to be deaf, thought not with a marker and a board, but with his hands, his gestures, his entire presence. And for the first time, I got invited into that world. He became my first sign language mentor. He immersed me into the basics of sign language. Alphabets, numbers, signs, and gestures. And he pushed me to build on that foundation. Anytime he needed someone to interpret for him, he would call on me. And at first, I fumbled. I mixed the signs. I forgot the words. I got nervous. But again and again, he called on me. And slowly, I grew. Fast forward University of Ghana. You'd think with this passion, I would go read communications, linguistics, or special education. But no, I went to study economics, mathematics, and statistics. Right. And anytime I told someone I was reading economics, mathematics, and statistics, the look I got, hey, all 3 of these? Why are you doing this to yourself? They would ask. Some laughed, shook their heads, yet wished me well. But in their eyes, I could see pity. They warned. They said it was too much. But me. And the cost came fast. I remember staring at my transcript one semester. and looking at grades I couldn't even recognize. This was me, a girl who used to be among the top of her class in senior high school, now they're just scraping by. That night, I wept. You would think with this experience I'll focus. But no, I piled up more on my plate. Debate society, socialist students network, church, activities that drained me of the little energy I had left. And they warned again, but you can't do everything. Yet still, me. And the cost came fast. I lost friendships. I lost academic grounds. I lost a lot of things. And the pressure kept piling until it crushed me. However, again, you would think I would focus or stop everything. But no, I decided to take on something even more bigger. I decided to start my journey to becoming a chartered accountant while still being an economics, a mathematics, and a statistics student. And this time, their reactions wasn't pity, it was fear. Even those who cared about me asked, why the rush? Why are you going with all these? What are you trying to prove? And what is the goal? Yet still, me. I didn't listen. They warned, and they warned again. Yet still, I didn't listen. And this created a tension in me. Who was I really? An economist, a statistician, an accountant, or a girl who just stumbled into a world most people ignored? And the truth is, I was all of them, and at the same time, none of them. And this created a tension within me. And there were times when all these required my attention at once. Assignments, exams, professional goals, interpreting requests. And on those days, I felt like a fraud. Like someone dabbling in everything and mastering none. And the cost indeed came fast. Those who cared about me came and warned again. Why don't you concentrate on one thing? But again, I didn't listen. I didn't listen. I didn't listen to all the advice that was given to me. My path has never been neat. In society's eyes, it's been unconventional, uncertain, and messy, and also blurry. And yet in the blur, I began to see moments of clarity, like when I stood on the national television to interpret, or when I walked into a classroom and interpreted for deaf students who would have otherwise been left out, or when I interpreted in church and someone said, because of you, I finally understand. People began to see sign language not just as a skill, but as a key to doors I didn't even know existed. And people also began to see sign language not just as something I did, but something worth learning. Parents asked, please encourage our children to learn this too. And deaf students shared not just their academic lives with me, but their personal stories, their joys, their struggles. In the blur, I found belonging. And in the blur, others found access. So the point is this. It's okay to not have it all figured out yet. Just step into the blur and have faith and a conviction that the lines do not always have to be sharp for your story to be real. The lines do not always have to be sharp for your story to be real. So if there is one thing you will learn. Let it be this. Sometimes, not listening is the only way you could finally hear yourself. Thank you.